Hi, my review is on the movie Deadpool, which opened up February 12th, starring Ryan Reynolds. And I have a little summary of the movie about what happens in the movie. And there is going to be spoilers, so be aware of that. A former Special Forces operative turned mercenary is subject to a rogue experiment that leaves him with an accelerated healing powers, adopting the alter ego Deadpool. And it was a very good movie. I thought that the special effects and all that were really good. And the movie, it kind of starts off where, it starts off with Deadpool, and then there's flashbacks before he became, what he was with the costume and all that. And it goes kind of back and forth, and it showed how he became Deadpool. There's spoilers in this review. I want to get that out there right now. It's a spoiler review. And he goes into, first he has cancer, and some guy shows up and tells him, listen, I can turn your life around. I can get rid of your cancer. I can make you an immortal. I can make you like a superhero. So basically, he's in a very desperate situation to get rid of the cancer. He probably wants to do it so he can continue his relationship. And what happens is, so he goes to this place. They condition him. They kind of mutate him. They put him in this chamber that's to suck all the air out of him. And for some reason it created some effect to his skin. It disfigured his skin and himself. So he seeks out revenge for the people that disfigured him, and he puts on a red suit like you see in the comics, and he goes after the bad guys. He goes after the people that changed him into what he was, because he wasn't happy with his disfigurement. He felt it was going to hurt his relationship with his girlfriend and everything. So he seeks out revenge, and he goes after the bad guys and stuff like that, and fights different. I mean, the special effects were great. The movie is kind of gory. There's blood. It is a rated R movie, so keep in mind on that. And I'm sorry for the way I'm talking, but I have a cold. Down at my job, I got it cold, and there must be more than one cold bug down there, and unfortunately I got it. I had 2 colds in a row, so it kind of sucks, but I'm sorry for the way I'm talking. But no, going back to the movie, it's a good movie, and it's got an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 96% by the audience. The audience gave it a 96%, and the critics gave it an 84%. When I went into this movie, I kind of had doubts, just a little bit. I had doubts because I thought it was going to be like the Wolverine movies, where they're good. They're pretty good movies, but usually the critics hammer away at them, and but the comic book fans love those Wolverine movies, but they don't live up to the hype, and I thought the same thing was going to be true with Deadpool, but it didn't turn out that way. It was a really good put together movie, good action packed. It is rated R, and so there is gore in it. There's a lot of bad language, but hey, that's Deadpool, and so certainly it's not a movie you could take a child to. But it's a rated R movie, so you wouldn't be able to get your kid in there anyway. I saw a little girl go in there with her family, and they turned her around in her family and said, "I'm sorry, we can't let this minor in." So it is a very or underage girl or whatever. It is a very good put together movie, and special effects are good. His personality, I don't know a whole lot about Deadpool. I've heard of the character. I've seen stuff on Deadpool and all that. I've always been more of a fan of the 3 most famous, and that's Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man. But I've never really gotten into Deadpool. But his characteristics are kind of similar to Spider-Man in the way that like Spider-Man is a wisecrack, and Deadpool's the same way, like that. The one-liners, being a wisecrack when taking down the bad guys. Except Deadpool's language, he uses a lot of bad language in his wisecrack comments. But that's Deadpool. That's how Deadpool is. That's how he was created. And it was a very well put together movie. I really liked it. I mean, it may not be a movie for everyone. But I enjoyed it, and there's going to be a sequel to it. I think, I give the movie a thumbs up. Now, the movie, like I was saying earlier, it had good visuals and special effects, but it did have its, like for instance, Colossus. Colossus, I wasn't really particularly happy with the CGI when it came to Colossus, because it looked like the kind of Colossus. He's the X-Men guy, that silver chromy big guy. But the problem with the CGI with Colossus is it just looks too cartoonish in a way, or something from a video game. It looks like the kind of CGI that they were using 10 years ago. It doesn't look like something, like a modern kind of CGI. I think that in the last 10 years they've gotten a little better with CGI, but this kind of CGI looked almost like 10 years ago. And so I wasn't all that, thrilled with the way Colossus looked. But, it is what it is, and the movie did successful, so I guess it really doesn't matter. But that is one issue I had with Colossus, is that the CGI wasn't as good as I thought it could have been. And so that was one of the X-Men characters. Another X-Men character in the movie was Negasonic, Teenage Warhead. Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, I guess that's how it's pronounced. But she was in it too. She has powers. She can flame up and all that. And so, there was some X-Men characters in it. It was very, that was fun to see. And at the very end, wait until after the credits. If you've seen this in all these Marvel movies, usually at the very end of the credits, there's a sneak peek on something, and or something that might tie into the next movie or something. So some people waited around because people were expecting something, because it is kind of in the Marvel universe, although it's 20th century Fox movie, but it is, the character is part of Marvel. So people waited around, and eventually you see Deadpool stick his head out of his apartment door. It says, he has his bathrobe on, and he has his Deadpool mask on, and he goes, "Are you guys still here? What are you guys here for? Go home. What are you waiting for?" And he says, "Oh, you must be here because you're expecting something, some kind of glimpse for the next sequel, or something like that," he said. And he says, "Or maybe what are you expecting, Samuel L. Jackson to show up at the door?" And he said that because, Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson plays Nick Fury in the Avengers movies, and that's why he was saying that, what are you expecting, Samuel L. Jackson to show up my door? Come on, go home already. So I thought that was funny. But the movie was good, and I would definitely go out and enjoy it. And it is a good comic book movie. It was better than I thought it was. It got better numbers than I thought it would. So I was really happy with it, and I'd say I'd give it around a B+. There were some imperfections there, but it was still a good film, and I liked it, and I give it a thumbs up on that one. So that's my review, everybody, and until my next review, I'll talk to you all later. All right, take care, everyone.